Forecast First, sponsored by Jackson Hewitt Tax Service. Open year-round to service your tax needs.
Good evening. I'm your local weather authority, Chief Meteorologist Chris Yates. Currently mostly clear skies in Bloomington Normal. Nice view in Uptown Normal on our sundown exteriors camera. It's warm, 87 degrees, but you wouldn't know looking out there that there was a stray shower and storm not too far away. But all that activity is fizzling out for now. Could get a few more passing isolated showers a little later on tonight, but overall it remains warm heading through this evening. Temperatures dropping into the upper 70s through 10 o'clock. This summer heat is going to stick around a little while longer, but there's a cold front on the way. We'll let you know what that means for us all coming up. WMBD News at 5 starts now.
Coming up, a hostage situation on Cattell Avenue in Peoria. How long a witness says her sister was kept inside a home against her will, and where that investigation stands.
Also, Unit 5 Superintendent Mark Daniel is resigning the agency the school board will use to help find a replacement.
And the doctors in the emergency room were calling time of death, that his heart started to beat again.
And a Peoria area woman says Archbishop Fulton Sheen saved her son's life. How she's using her story to share his message. But first, a weekend crime spree in Peoria is becoming costly for neighbors. Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Rebecca Brumfield. On Saturday morning, many living in Maywood Avenue woke up to find their tires slashed. Treasurer Roberts spoke to several people and explains how this is affecting them financially. Treasurer.
Well, Rebecca, here on Maywood as well as East Corrington and Prospect Road, dozens of tires were slashed. Now, one question that several people are asking is why? I spoke to victims the other day and they told me that police officers came knocking on their door as early as 6 a.m. in the morning, notifying them that their tires were slashed. Now, of course, this was not good news for them, considering tires are not the cheapest. Now, the only cars that were affected were the cars that were actually parked on the street. Now, here's what some of the victims had to say.
I still have trouble, I'm having trouble wrapping my head around why somebody would do that.
It's a setback money-wise, and so now I won't have money for other things that come up.
Coming up at 6, I'll tell you where investigators are in their investigation. In Peoria, Treasurer Roberts, WMBD News.
For the second time this week, Peoria police were busy with a hostage situation. Eugene Daniel joins me now with what we know about that investigation. Eugene.
Here, Rebecca, people on Peoria's south side got a code red alert today during a 2-hour standoff. Police surrounded a home on West Cattell Avenue after a woman called 911 saying her sister was being held against her will by someone she was dating. When the caller went to the home, the suspect reportedly went up to the window with a gun. The victim was able to escape the home before officers arrived on scene. The initial suspect and a man accused of interfering with the police investigation were arrested. The victim is being treated at a local hospital. Rebecca.
All right, Eugene. Peoria City Councilman Zach Euler says he's not guilty. Euler was charged with domestic battery and interfering with the reporting of domestic violence after an incident with his wife at the end of July. The at-large councilman has a status hearing set for October 16th. A jury trial is scheduled to begin in January, and that's on the 13th. Euler is represented by attorney Rob Hanauer. The Unit 5 school board is meeting tonight for the first time since Superintendent Mark Daniel announced his resignation. Manash Kwangwari will be there tonight, but he joins us now to go over what is on the agenda. Manash.
I'm here right now outside of Parkside Junior High, where the meeting will be taking place tonight at 7. On Monday, we told you Superintendent Mark Daniel announced his resignation at a press conference, but that was only for the media. Tonight, he will officially announce his plans in front of the board and the community. Immediately after, Board President Barry Hitchens will talk about a possible contract between the school district and an agency known as School Exec Connect. The agency will assist the district in finding a new superintendent during the school year. But tonight will only be a discussion as there is no vote scheduled for that topic. Tonight at 10, I'll tell you exactly what the contract entails, as well as how soon this agency will be getting to work. In Normal, I'm Manash Kwangwari. Rebecca.
All right, Manash. U.S. Representative Adam Kinzinger now has a challenger in the 2020 race. LaSalle County Democrat Danny Brzozowski announced she will run to represent the 16th district. Brzozowski is a community leader and activist from the county. Now she says she hopes to fight for her neighbors and be the voice for the countless people who aren't being correctly represented. A Havana couple is outraged after receiving a surprise utility bill.
So we went to a board meeting and said, hey, we can't afford to pay this. This is ridiculous. There was sabotage.
The Rose were charged thousands of dollars for water. Download our mobile app right now to find out how this happened and what the Rose plan to do from here. Just search CI Proud to Go in your app store. A dementia care facility is coming to Pekin. And as Matt Sheehan found, this will help Alzheimer's and dementia patients stay close to home and still get the care they need. Matt.
Rebecca, the facility will be called Pekin Supportive Living Memory Care, and it's going to be connected with John Evans Supportive Living on Executive Court in Pekin. Now, this comes after the Department of Health Care and Family Services Medicaid Department announced they're bringing 40 new dementia sites to the state. The supportive living program began in 1996 and currently has 152 providers across the state. But this program will now add on nearly 1,600 Medicaid members. And specifically at John Evans in Pekin, it will add 50 private apartments. John Evans Marketing Director Laurie Hill says this dementia care site will help patients all over the county.
When you have Alzheimer's dementia, any move is really hard on them. So even if it's just coming close, being close to everybody and seeing people that they recognize, I think will be really helpful for them.
Hill says she's not sure when they will break ground on the building specifically. They have to wait for the financing to become official, but she's hoping for next spring. Now, Pekin isn't the only place in central Illinois to get a dementia care site. LaSalle County is getting 2 sites. Livingston County is getting 2 as well, and McLean County is getting 1 in Normal. I have all those exact locations on our website, ciproud.com. Rebecca.
All right, Matt, thank you. A man with ties to Central Illinois played a vital role in the 9/11 commemorations at the Pentagon today. Here you see the President and First Lady laying a wreath at the site where 184 people died. The soldier helping them is Ethan Hatfield. His parents own Zion Coffee Shop in Peoria. In a Facebook post, Ethan calls the experience a humbling and motivating one. Americans today are remembering 9/11. 18 years ago, terrorists hijacked airliners and carried out plans that would forever change the U.S. As Wendy Gillette reports, around the nation, ceremonies will mark one of the darkest days in U.S. history.
It's a heart-wrenching ritual repeated every year. Family members and first responders return to Ground Zero to remember loved ones lost on September 11, 2001. Bells mark when the planes hit the Twin Towers and when the buildings fell, as the names of the fallen are read.
Timothy Sean Haskell.
Many children speak about parents they never met or got to know.
Andrew, Mom and I miss you very much every day, and we know you're watching over us.
New this year at Ground Zero, a 9/11 memorial glade featuring stacks of granite in tribute to the first responders who became ill or died after being exposed to toxins.
And pray for all those first responders who have or will become ill as a result of their dedication and sacrifice.
Nearly 3,000 people died on this day 18 years ago. And while the neighborhood here in Lower Manhattan has changed so much since then, the love and sense of loss remain the same.
There's so many milestones that he's missed. This one is kind of hard.
In Washington, D.C., President Trump attended a ceremony to remember the people who died when a jet slammed into the Pentagon.
The First Lady and I are united with you in grief.
And near Shanksville, Pennsylvania, Vice President Mike Pence paid tribute to the passengers on board United Flight 93. From Pennsylvania to Washington to New York, the refrain is the same: never forget. Wendy Gillette, CBS News, New York.
We will never forget. A Fulton County family receives a gift after a devastating loss. In June, Fulton County Deputy Troy Chisholm was shot and killed by a suspect involved in a domestic violence call. He left behind a wife and 3 daughters. Now, days after that shooting, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation vowed it would pay off the Chisholm's family mortgage. And on Friday, leaders of that nonprofit will travel to the Midwest Barbecue for the Brave in Frankfort to announce that that promise has been kept. A local mother is sharing her story of how she says an archbishop from Central Illinois saved her child's life. In 2010, Bonnie Engstrom's son James was stillborn. After praying for Archbishop Fulton Sheen to intercede more than an hour, James had a pulse. Within the past few months, Sheen's remains were moved from New York to Peoria, and the Peoria Diocese is pursuing plans for his beatification. Engstrom shared her story with students at St. Thomas Catholic School this morning.
I feel like it's a privilege and an honor to share this story as much as I can. I'm really excited for them. I hope that they go home and they have something good to talk about at the dinner table with their parents tonight.
And Engstrom adds her son, James Fulton, is now almost 9 years old and doing great.
Well, it's been a warm and muggy afternoon in Central Illinois. While many of us have remained dry, there were a few isolated showers and storms out there earlier. Here's a time lapse from Pontiac showing some of those towers going up just to the west and passing north of town. We'll have a better chance for some widely scattered showers and storms a little later this week, but for now the heat remains. We'll break down the full forecast all coming up after this.
Closed captioning on WMBD, sponsored by Uftring Ford.
Don't miss the biggest sale in our history. It's Steger's Furniture's great $3.1 million inventory sell-off. Join the crowds and save big on Central Illinois' best selection of furniture, mattresses, and accessories. Steger's Furniture, Court and 9th Streets, going on now.
Ever suffered contractor face? Luckily, there's a cure for the frustration of working with a common contractor.
For cracks in walls, sinking concrete and foundation, basement and crawl space problems, call Bix Basement Systems. We're a better kind of home repair expert.
I had some trouble in school last year, but Mom took me to Bard Optical. I got glasses, and now my grades are cool. And so is Mom.
I wanted a new look for school, and Bard had our insurance, so Dad was happy to get me contacts.
Right now, with the purchase of a complete first pair, we'll knock 50% off your second pair. And if your student needs contacts, we have daily lenses and even colored contacts. Call for offer details and to schedule an appointment with 21 locations to serve you and at bardoptical.com. Bard Optical, vision for life.
Hi, I'm Gary Uftring, and the word is out. I've challenged our team to sell 1,503 cars in 60 days. And customers from all over Central Illinois are getting their deal of a lifetime. Get yours today at every Uftring Auto Group dealer.
At Hy-Vee Market Grill and Hy-Vee Market Grill Express, you'll find delicious meals the whole family will enjoy. All made fresh to order. And of course, the best burgers in town. Plus, kids eat free every day in September in celebration of National Family Meals Month. That's right, get a free kids meal with an adult entree. Bring your family together for a meal today at Hy-Vee Market Grill and Hy-Vee Market Grill Express.
Don't miss the biggest sale in our history. It's Steger's Furniture's great $3.1 million inventory sell-off. Join the crowds and save big on Central Illinois' best selection of furniture, mattresses, and accessories. Steger's Furniture, Court and 9th Streets, going on now.
When you try to do too many things at once, you're likely to not do any of them well. At Wyffels Hybrids, we focus on one talent, developing the very best seed corn on the planet. It's an act we've been polishing for more than 70 years. Wyffels Hybrids, one thing done right.
This portion of WMBD News brought to you by Goldfine and Bowles. Now, your local weather authority forecast from Chief Meteorologist Chris Yates.
Welcome back. A bit of warm, humid air in place across Central Illinois, but skies for now are mostly clear. Nice looking view on the Jones Tree Surgery camera. The haziness is starting to back off a little bit as well, but dew point still in low 70s, making it feel More like 94 out there, but the actual temp is 88. 87 in Bloomington normal. We had some showers nearby in Pontiac. They're now sitting at 84. 87 degrees up north in Peru. You had a handful of little showers and storms popping up. What's left is now fizzling out across southern portions of Livingston, northern parts of McLean County, and skies clearing out further to the west. We'll likely stay dry as we head through this evening. We're watching areas just to our north. This is all expected to flare up. There's a frontal boundary there, so we'll get some showers and storms developing here this evening. And then some of those storms may kick an outflow boundary into central Illinois, at least north of I-74, bringing in a few spotty rain showers. But here's our next storm system that'll bring us more widespread showers and thunderstorms as we head through Thursday night into Friday. But the front stays to our north for now. We'll get some showers and storms coming in across Iowa by this time tomorrow night. Some of those storms could be severe. By the time they get here, they will not be severe, but we'll get a pretty good opportunity to pick up at least a little bit of rainfall. Here's feature track through tonight. The spotty showers and storms coming to an end, but here's that outflow boundary I was talking about, kicking back some rain-cooled air towards I-74. Can't completely discount the possibility of a stray shower with that. Otherwise, mainly dry conditions expected. Temps will be well above average tonight, headed for the lower 70s, down to 72 degrees in Peoria. And then through tomorrow, skies partly to mostly cloudy. Pop-up shower or storm not out of the question in the afternoon, but the best rain chances don't really arrive until tomorrow night. So most of us will probably end up staying dry throughout the day. Tomorrow evening, things start to change up a little bit. It's still pretty warm tomorrow ahead of the cold front. Highs are expected to return to the upper 80s to low 90s. Once again, the heat index is going to be somewhere around 95 degrees. So if you're going to be outdoors for a prolonged period of time, be sure to stay well hydrated. We get some relief coming in. Scattered showers and storms with the cold front. It's not going to be a big rainmaker for us, but it is going to bring in some cooler and drier air. So more comfortable weather is on the way. Here's a look at the forecast. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Look at Friday's highs. Upper 70s expected. We'll be back into the mid 80s on Saturday, and that summer heat is coming back. Later half of the weekend, we'll have temperatures in the mid to upper 80s, and then closing in on the 90s by Monday. So there's that extended forecast. Best chance of rain returns, moves in Thursday night into Friday. Most of us walking away with a ½ inch or less when it comes to that rainfall. But we'll be in for at least a cool start to the weekend. Great weather for Friday night football. Temperatures around kickoff likely to be in the low to mid 70s and falling from there. Of course, the Morton Pumpkin Fest off to a pretty warm start now, but heading into the weekend, it gets a little better. Yeah. And then it's going to be a little hot early next week, but the heat's going to stick around probably through the rest of next week, and then we'll get into fall mode.
Fall mode. So, you know, I got to know, are you going to be at the Pumpkin Festival?
We'll see if I can get out there.
Yeah, you know, Eugene was tempting me yesterday with that pumpkin chili, so I'm kind of like,
yeah,
sounds like a good thing to go try. We got the good weather for it, that's for sure. All right, Chris, thanks. Still ahead, after more than $1 billion in investment from Ford and Amazon, Rivian is getting another boost. How much Cox Automotive is giving the growing company.
This fall, Thursday's a night of remarkable women on CBS.
Awesome! Amazing!
With Oscar winner Allison Janney and Anna Faris on Mom.
Jump! Ow! You completely missed my arms.
Then Emmy Award winner Patricia Heaton comes home to CBS in Carol's second act.
I am so excited to be here!
Her biggest adventure starts today.
I'm an intern, just like you.
But you have a long coat, like a resume.
It's not a long coat, I'm just short.
It all begins Thursday, September 26th.
At Lazy Boy, we're clearing out everything in stock. Right now, save up to 50% on closeouts, overstocks, floor samples, and one-of-a-kinds. All beautifully crafted, all on sale. It's the factory authorized clearance. Save up to 50% with deals direct from our Lazy Boy factory to you. Get our best offers on a huge selection. Don't wait, because when they're gone, they're gone. Lazy Boy, live life comfortably.
Join the Heartland Festival Orchestra on September 21st for Brahms' joyous Second Symphony and Max Bruch's romantic violin concerto with international star Stefan Milenkovic. Give us a call or go online. Tickets are on sale now.
Another season, another reason to update your home for fall at Jeffrey Allen's. There's door decor to adore with exclusive handmade pumpkin swags, just $19.97, and hundreds of new designs to choose from. Plus, you'll love new fall accents like silk stems, now save 50%, and new fall placemats, napkins, and more, just $197. All at irresistible prices to make your home fall-tastic. Only at Jeffrey Allen's. Garden, boutique, framing, and the best in seasons and home decor. Happy fall, y'all!
With the new Illinois Lottery app, you can play the lottery anywhere, which means you could win the lottery anywhere. Download the app and play now.
Some see an obstacle. But when you have best-in-class all-weather capability, it's just another opportunity. Jeep Cherokee. Hurry in to Jeep Adventure Days for a great deal.
Get $4,250 combined cash allowance plus $1,000 bonus cash on select 2019 Cherokee models in dealer stock.
Don't miss Columbia Rug and Flooring's huge store-wide Labor Day sale. It's the perfect time to save on hardwood, carpet, luxury vinyl, laminate, tile, and more, with major savings on super soft Tigressa carpets. Plus, take advantage of 18 months free financing. The Labor Day flooring sale, only for a limited time, only at Columbia Rug and Flooring.
At Columbia Rug and Flooring, you get the right product at the right price, beautifully installed, guaranteed.
Introducing the WMBD News to Go podcast, updated twice a day, 5 days a week, available now on all your favorite podcast apps. You're watching WMBD News at 5.
Normal Mayor Chris Coos is celebrating a new investment into Rivian. On Facebook, Coos announced that Cox Automotive is giving the electric vehicle company $350 million. This comes after a $500 million investment from Ford and a $700 million investment from Amazon. The company currently has several dozen employees, but hopes to have a staff of 1,000 by 2024. Lane reductions are now in effect on Main Street in East Peoria as IDOT works to repair the bridge over Farm Creek. Drivers heading northbound are not allowed to make a left turn onto Camp Street and have to follow a detour route, which includes going west on I-74. The repairs are expected to be complete after November 4th. Recreational marijuana will be legal in the state at the start of the new year. But before weed is sold to customers, retail outlet employees have to go through some training. Employees are required to be trained on properly dispensing cannabis, as well as checking IDs and identifying signs of impairment from marijuana use. That training must be completed by the end of November of this year, and that training must be completed by November 30th. Still to come, vaping flavored products. The new rules President Trump says his administration is working on to keep Americans safe.
Tonight here on the CBS Evening News, our emotional interview with Gold Star families and combat veterans of America's longest war, what 9/11 means to their families. That's all tonight on the CBS Evening News.
At Ham's Furniture, we have your comfortable, affordable recliners and much, much more. We also offer free local delivery.
Hi, I'm Russ at Ham's Furniture, inviting you to come in and see what's new today.
Ham's Furniture, 347 Court Street in downtown Pekin.
It's time to stop dreaming and start driving. Head over to Sam Lehman Toyota in Bloomington for our biggest discounts on over 200 new Toyotas, like new RAV4s, just $219 a month, new Camrys, just $239 a month, or drive a new Highlander and save up to $6,800. No more woulda, coulda, shouldas. Start driving that new Toyota you've been dreaming of today.
Your brand new Toyota is waiting for you right here. Visit SamLehmanToyotaBloomington.com.
After 121 years, Central Fixture is going out of business, so my grandparents can take a well-deserved rest. Save 50% and more on everything in the store. Visit Central Fixture's going out of business sale. Grandma and Grandpa aren't done yet.
Doc Holliday has been named one of the top 5% personal injury lawyers in Illinois.
I work hard and I want my money to work hard too, so I use my Freedom Unlimited card. Even when I'm spending, I'm earning 1.5% cash back on everything I buy. Earning on headphones. Earning. Still earning. Always earning.
I don't know where you're pointing.
Not that one, the big one. You can't sneak a good earning opportunity past me. In fact, I got a hand modeling gig that starts right now. Earn 1.5% cash back on everything you buy with Freedom Unlimited. Ooh, my hands look good. Chase, make more with yours.
Zoom into Zapp's full-service auto repair. Zapp's offers complete diagnostic services on all makes and models. Our professional, honest technicians will treat you like family and never try to sell you unneeded repairs. Call or stop in today for a free inspection and estimate.
The first survivor of Alzheimer's disease is out there.
And the Alzheimer's Association is going to make it happen. But we won't get there without you. Visit alz.org to join the fight.
Ford Fusion. Drive it for about $18,757. That's $6,358 in savings. Or get 0% financing for 60 months.
This portion of WMBD News, sponsored by the Illinois Lottery. You're watching WMBD News at 5.
President Trump announces his administration is working on a new set of rules to stop the sale of flavored vaping products. The Health and Human Services Secretary tells Jesse Tenor they could be in place in a few weeks.
People are dying with vaping, so we're looking at it very closely.
The Trump administration is taking on the e-cigarette industry after the outbreak of vaping-related illness resulting in at least 6 deaths. The president, alongside Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar, announced he plans to ban flavored e-cigarette products.
The Obama administration had allowed them to be on the market, even though they technically, under law, have to come in and get FDA approval.
Azar says in about 2 months, companies will have to remove flavored vaping products from store shelves. To get back in front of customers, they will have to apply for FDA approval.
It has to be in the public health interest for us to approve it to be on the market.
Getting approval may be difficult because Azar says vaping among teenagers is already at an all-time high.
We're not going to let this generation become the one that flips us back to growing utilization of cigarettes.
E-cigarette companies agree they should only be used by adults. But in a statement, the American Vaping Association said destroying thousands of small businesses and sending ex-smokers back to smoking will do nothing to stop drug dealers from selling contaminated THC cartridges. Secretary Azar acknowledged companies may try to block the rules with a lawsuit.
If they do, they do. But what's important is we're here protecting the public health based on science, evidence, and acting completely in conformity with the law.
In Washington, I'm Jesse Tenor.
Don't go anywhere. Chief Meteorologist Chris Yates will come back with a final look at your forecast.
Save time and money with a trip to Goods Furniture in Kewanee, Illinois, offering over 50 brands of quality furniture, all at the prices you deserve. No hype, no gimmicks, just our lowest price every day. Visit Goods Furniture, only in Kewanee, Illinois.
31 years ago, I stood before the 7 justices of the Illinois Supreme Court and persuaded the court to adopt repetitive trauma as part of the Illinois Workers' Compensation Act. Since that time, I've helped many hundreds of people with their carpal and cubital tunnel syndromes, primary shoulder, knee, and low back claims. For help with your repetitive trauma claim, call me, John Lesaganich, for I've been helping injured workers like you for nearly 40 years.
At Ameren, Illinois, we're moving energy forward. From powering one of the nation's smartest energy grids to using advanced technology to proactively inspect gas pipelines, this cost-effective approach will continue to increase reliability in Peoria. We are thinking about tomorrow, so your little superhero can save the day today. Now that's energy at work. Learn more at AmerenIllinois.com/Peoria.
Power is the biggest touchscreen a truck's ever seen. One that can see 360 degrees. But when you surround it with 19 speakers, back seats that do front seat things, and end up Motor Trend's 2019 Truck of the Year, that's the power to innovate. Come to Ram Power Days for great deals on the most powerful lineup of pickups.
Get 0% financing for 60 months, plus $4,750 total bonus cash on the 2019 Ram 1500 Classic Bighorn.
Cracker Barrel makes every meal one to remember, with favorites like Sunday Homestyle Chicken now available every day. And our new sweet and smoky Homestyle Chicken BLT for $8.99. Come on home to Scratch Made. Come on home to Cracker Barrel.
Just one drop.
Oh! Gorilla Super Glue Micro Precise. Of course!
Precise application, controlled dispensing with Gorilla Strength for the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
You two made a great decision on your new windows. Buy one, get one won't last long.
Have you always been so passionate about windows?
Like Felco's buy one, get one free windows is totally rad. In conclusion, Felco's energy efficient windows are a must in every home. So hurry, call now.
You could say that.
Buy one window, get one free.
Buy one, get one free, and soon. Call now.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Felco.
Introducing the WMBD News to Go podcast, updated twice a day, 5 days
Testing
a week.
1 2 1 2 1 2
on all your favorite podcast apps. Here's what you can see tonight on WMBD, Central Illinois proud. You're watching WMBD News at 5.
Here's a look at what's coming up at 6 o'clock. Several car tires were slashed over the weekend. We'll look at how the crime spree is now impacting neighbors. Plus, the new options for care of men and women with dementia. We'll soon have in Central Illinois. And a Central Illinois coach is battling a kidney disease and has many things on his plate. Kurt Pegler shows you how he manages all of those. Those stories and more coming up at 6.
All right, Eugene, thanks. Well, Chris, it looks like, down south has a little bit of rain, right?
Well, we had some spotty stuff earlier this afternoon. It's all gone. If you were to walk outside, you wouldn't even know it came unless your grass is wet.
Perfect.
That's how fast it came through. No, we had some passing showers, Woodford, McLean, and Livingston County. Those are all now gone. Skies are now mostly clear. Still can't rule out a possible shower as we go through tonight north of I-74 with some storms 2 hour north. But again, not expecting much of any rainfall in a majority of the area. Tomorrow we will start to see a better chance of storms. Still should be pretty spotty through the afternoon. Highs in the upper 80s. Rain chances increase tomorrow night, becoming likely as a cold front pushes on through. And that cold front's going to set us up with at least a couple of days of more comfortable weather. We'll have temperatures in the upper 70s on Friday with a bit of a northwesterly breeze. 84 Saturday. That summer heat is back by early next week with high temperatures in the lower 90s. But the heat index is going to be back into the mid to upper 90s. Hopefully things start to cool off again by the later half of next week.
I saw that hot and humid that you put on next week. So
it's there.
It's there. We'll deal with it. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, thanks. WMBD News is available on air, online, and of course on the go. Head on over to CIProud.com because you know you want to. We'll see you right back here at 6 o'clock, and the CBS Evening News is up next.